John Fetterman. Yeah, you know that guy who ran for Senate in Pennsylvania, against Dr. Oz, but just months prior, he suffered a stroke, and a lot of people said, well, maybe you shouldn't run, but he ran anyway, and he won. Well, he just admitted himself for depression. I'm Jasper Gonzo, and this
I told you so. Just doesn't quite say it.
is what's next. Hey, what's up, everyone? This is What's Next, your daily, of course. How you guys doing today on this Friday? John Fetterman. Of course, everyone's familiar with John Fetterman. He is the gentleman who decided to run for Senate against Dr. One Mehmet Oz in PA. But months prior to the debate and to the eventual win, he suffered a stroke. So while in recovery, he continued to run. A lot of people said, you know what? You're recovering, bail out. Abort the mission. Do not run. No, he kept going to the delight of his wife, who continued to push him. And of course, his Democratic cronies continued to push him. Like I just said, he won. So a lot of people were, of course, disappointed. But then again, a lot of people were not surprised, as myself. I was not surprised that he won. But now with all that, turns out that he just admitted himself into the hospital for clinical depression. Wow. Let's take a look. This comes out of Breitbart. John Fetterman checks himself into hospital for clinical depression. Just days after being hospitalized for feeling lightheaded, the newly minted John Fetterman checked himself into the hospital for receiving treatment for clinical depression, according to his chief of staff. Fetterman's chief of staff, Adam Jenselson, said on Thursday. Last night, Senator John Fetterman checked himself into Walter Reed for treatment for clinical depression. While John experienced depression on and off throughout his life, that I did not know, it only became severe in the last several weeks. On Monday, John was evaluated by Dr. Brian Monahan. Monahan recommended inpatient care at Walter Reed. John agreed and is receiving treatment on a voluntary basis. After examination, the doctors at Walter Reed told us that John is getting the care he needs. Good. This follows the senator being hospitalized last week for feeling lightheaded. At the time, Fetterman's communication director, John Cabello, said that initial tests did not show evidence of a new stroke, but more tests would be run. The senator's wife, Giselle, said in a pair of tweets on Thursday, following the news of her husband, after what he's been through in the past year, there's probably no one who wanted to talk about his own health less than John. I'm so proud of him for asking for help and getting the help he needs, she added, asking everyone to please respect the family's privacy during this difficult time. This is a difficult time for our family, so please respect our privacy. For us, our kids come first. Take care of yourselves. Hold your loved ones close. You're not alone. On the campaign trail, the senator suffered a stroke before clinching the Democratic nomination for U.S. Senate seat in Pennsylvania. However, Breitbart News previously reported, Fetterman, on the campaign trail, routinely appeared disoriented in public appearances throughout the campaign, regularly mispronouncing words and confusing sentences. After a disastrous interview on NBC's Nightly News, yes, it was, with Dasha Burns, drew criticism for noting how Fetterman's stroke impaired him in various ways, from his comprehension to his basic speech, to the point of him needing a closed caption system during their personal interview. Fetterman's campaign required closed captioning technology for this interview to essentially read our questions that we asked of him, she told fellow reporter Lester Holt. In small talk before the interview, without captioning, it wasn't clear he was understanding the conversation. He went on to win the election against his Republican opponent, Mehmet Oz, in November, despite his poor debate performance. My thoughts. One, I hope he does get the care he needs, and that he can get, God willing, everything goes well. Points. He's had a history of depression on and off. That's what his chief of staff is saying, which of course is news to everyone. But on top of it, if anybody, who didn't see how he reacted in debates, in interviews, and what have you, you might have thought, well, this guy should not be running. Clearly, common sense dictates this guy should not be running. He, right now, because of his stroke, is not having the mental capacity. That's what a stroke does. A stroke attacks the brain, unlike a heart attack. And it makes you deficient in a lot of ways. And we saw it live and in living color, sadly. So John reaches out and gets the help he needs and goes to Walter Reed. So that's good. But look at the hypocrisy on the other side. You have clearly someone who is suffering onset dementia as one Joe Biden. But yet they continue to throw him out there, make a fool out of himself, fall down literally and act a clown. But yet they keep him out there. Why? They don't invoke the 25th. Why? Because of a more incompetent waiting in the wings, and that would be one Kamala Kneepads Harris. Compare and contrast. But if anyone who looks at what's going on with John Fetterman now says, well, you know what? I don't want to say I told you so, but just saying. I'm Jazz Berganzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more just like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share it, subscribe to it. And we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.